Max was a curious and adventurous boy who loved to climb trees, build forts, and imagine himself as a superhero saving the world. He had a wild and active imagination that all his friends thought was awesome, and it often took him to far-off places in his mind. But sometimes, when he was supposed to be paying attention in class, his mind would wander and he'd start to fidget in his seat. His teachers would remind him to stay focused, but Max just couldn't help it. He knew he had lots of energy and imagination, but he didn't want anyone to think he was less capable because of it. Max and his father were hiking through the woods one day. The leaves rustling beneath their feet and the sun filtering through the trees. The air was filled with the sounds of chirping birds and buzzing insects. As they walked up towards the hill where his father would teach him to bow hunt, Max's eyes darted around, taking in all the sights and sounds of the forest. Suddenly, he spotted a small, magical tree elf darting through the leaves, playing with some other elves, their laughter ringing out like a song. Max was amazed by their energy and speed as they chased each other through the branches. And Max noticed something else about the elves. They were easily distracted, stopping to grab flowers and nuts or tickling each other, but they always seemed to stay focused on returning to their goal. Max watched in wonder as one elf quickly scampered up a tree to grab a flower, then raced back down to hide it from the other elves. The elf's energy and determination was contagious, and Max felt inspired to stay focused on his goals, like somehow they were able to get back to what they were doing. You see, he noticed something. It was their song that guided them. And so, Max thought about he and his own focus. He could write a song in his own mind. To build a sound of castle, walls of notes, shelves of choruses, verses, lists that would hold him on this or that track as the song took him up a path that he wanted to focus on. As Mac continued on this hike, he felt the energy and excitement building inside him. He knew now why his father thought he was ready to learn to focus more. Max realised that, just like the elves, he had strengths that came with his active mind. As Max thought more about his strengths, he imagined himself standing on top of the mountain, shooting his bow with his father teaching him to take a deep breath, relax his body, steady, aim, and hold. And how he would achieve hitting that target in the distance by taking aim, being ready to flight the arrow just in that moment when he was at his stillest. He was already on the pathway with his father, learning these skills to focus. And now he felt he had a further revelation with the elves. They're full of life and adventure, and he had learned their secret. He could imagine being on the mountain with his bow and feeling the wind rushing through his hair and the adrenaline pumping through his veins. In his mind, he created a song that would remind him to stay focused, even when he was feeling distracted or unfocused. He knew he had a lot of energy and imagination, but he also knew he could channel that energy into accomplishing his goals. The song he made was a catchy tune that he could sing to himself within his own mind without disturbing others. He could use this whenever he needed to concentrate on a task. Even if he got a little distracted along the way, he could always come back to pick up the song lines and return to the focus through chorus and verse onto the place that he had held, just like the elves, because now he had his own song. He knew that with practice and a bit of patience, maybe even a little of that determination that's one of his great strengths, he could train his mind to focus and use his active imagination to his advantage. His creativity was unsurpassed, able to come up with new ideas and solutions quickly. He knew now that all he needed to do was to practice internalizing that, and then he could learn how to control his focus and get more things done when he wanted to. As days went by, Max began to enjoy using his imagination in new ways. He found that by creating a character in his mind and imagining what the character was doing, he could focus on his task while also exploring new ideas and having fun. The songs and stories he created in his mind built structures that could remind him and bring him back on track. They were full of adventure and excitement, which made even the most mundane tasks seem much more interesting. Max would imagine himself as the hero in these stories, solving problems and overcoming obstacles, which gave him a sense of accomplishment and pride. He realised that by channeling his active mind in this way, he was turning his weaknesses into a strength. Max began to look forward to using his imagination in this way, knowing that he was developing an important skill that would help him succeed in school and in life. And indeed, people began to notice, little by little, as he achieved more to his full potential. Because with practice, Max was becoming better at managing his energy and focus. He learned to watch for signs of his weakness and found ways to turn them into strengths. Max realised that everyone has weaknesses, but it's how you use them that counts. Max felt a great sense of accomplishment as he recognised the positive changes in himself. His parents noticed. His friends saw he was more relaxed. His teachers all noticed how he could take turns, sit quietly, and focus on the task at hand, and how relaxed he was in doing so, and the pride and enjoyment with which he did so. He felt encouraged and motivated to continue this practice, knowing that it would lead to more success and happiness in his future. Max was excited to think about all the things he could achieve by using his imagination and staying calm and focused. He felt proud of himself for being able to use his imagination to stay focused, and he knew he could accomplish anything he set his mind to, so long as he used his songs to remain in balance, the chorus and verse just the right amount. He knew that by embracing his strengths and weaknesses, he could achieve great things and make a difference in the whole world. With a big smile on his face, Max felt proud of who he was and all that he would become.